Alright, so this is a demo on how to use the IntelliJ debugger, specifically in this recursive case. So I hope that this helps. The first thing you're going to do is you need to set a breakpoint. So now the breakpoint is a spot in your code that you would like to basically the program will run through the code up until that point, and then it will stop, and then you can go through your code line by line. So in this case, the thing that we're concerned about is this recursive method. We don't really care what's going on in the client code or the main method, as you might know it. We just want to know what's going on in the logic here in this recursive call. So I'm just going to set a breakpoint by left-clicking on the line where we want it to break. So where we want the code to stop, and then go line by line. So I'm just going to click there. So private static int recursive. Now this method name is a terrible name. You would not want to do that in the real world, but for this demo and for homework or whatever, it's not such a big deal. So we have set our breakpoint. I'm going to go ahead and copy this so I don't have to type it all out. And now we're going to debug. So let's see what happens. And debug is this little bug next to the play or the run button. So you just hit this little debugger right here. All right, so let's go ahead and do that again. I'm just going to stop this, and we'll get rid of it. Let's get rid of all these. Okay, so we set our breakpoint, and we hit this little bug icon. Okay, and then it's going to say, please enter 18 numbers. Just going to paste those in. All right, and so boom. So as soon as I hit enter, because we got to this part right here, please enter 18 numbers, it jumps to this. After we enter the numbers, it jumps to us calling this recursive method. And since we have set a breakpoint there, that's where it stops. So now it's going to let us go through line by line. So in order to go to the next line, you're just going to hit this little blue arrow that says step into. Okay. Now, if you want to see the native Java methods and classes, you're going to hit this step. It's called force step into. Now this is going to bring up all the Java classes that are inherent to Java, but we're not really interested in that. We don't really need to see what the string class or what an int class looks like. We just want to see what's going on in our own code. So if you ever get confused, that is like if you just all of a sudden it brings up string.java, that's because you hit this. So just keep clicking through with the step into. Okay, so when we step into it, IntelliJ is very cool because it shows us the variable values on the screen as we go through. So we can see our integer array there, and we can see our other parameter here, the starting index, and we can basically watch it all go through. But the other thing is, since this right here is not showing us the entire int array, it's also down here in variables. Okay, and you can expand that, and you can see that, yep, there's all of our numbers. There's 18 numbers in this integer array. Okay, and so we're just going to hit next, and as we go through here, you can kind of line up everything and see what's going on. So result is equal to math.max, and this of course just finds the max, which value is higher. And so we're starting at the int, and starting index is 0. So we're comparing 1, and then it's going to, this is a recursive call here. So 1, and then the starting index is 1 plus 1, which is 4. Okay? So we're comparing 1 and 4. So right now, 4 is the larger value. So that will get thrown on the stack like that. So on the stack, it'll look like 1 and 4, okay? And it'll come back up. and we do it again. So now we're at starting index 1. So it would be 4 and 1 plus 1 is 2. So 4 and 2. Okay? So throw that on the stack. And so on and so forth. So we're just adding 1 to our starting index every single time to make sure that we're getting the next number in line. Okay? And so the debugger lets us do this. It lets us visually see what's happening as our code runs. So I'm just going to get a little bit further here. Let's get to... And the important thing about this recursive call, of course, is that we have a way to break out of it. And this is your base case. This if inst.length minus 1 is equal to starting index. So basically, if the integer length is equal to the starting index, we're just going to return the integer at the starting index, okay? So you'll see once we get to 18 here, let's see. Oh, I think I skipped it, but anyways, what's happening now is we had built all these up on the stack, okay? And now that we had built them all up onto the stack, and this is I'll send you this page. This is a great, or I'll link this page. Basically what's happening is we're stacking these all up, and once we hit our base case, it starts popping them off, okay? So that's what's happening now. We're just popping these off, and it looks like 76 is the highest number within our integer right there. And then it should just print it. Yep, 76 is the largest number. All right, so I hope that helps as far as learning how to, like a very basic way to debug on IntelliJ. There's a lot, more stuff you can do. I'm by no means a complete expert, but that's just the method I use to try and figure out some of these more difficult problems. You can use it when you're iterating, like using for loops, etc. It just basically helps you visualize what's going on. All right, I hope that helped.